Hi friends, Prepared Suburbanite here. Not too awful long ago, we had the pleasure of sitting in on a seminar given by Bob Gaskin. It was called The Morals of Survival After the SHTF. And he made a promise at the very beginning of that presentation that he would change the way I prep. And you know, he did. And I'm going to get into how that change affected me and what we're doing with our preps. So stick with us. So Bob told a story that he was in line at a Walmart grocery store, supercenter kind of a thing, and he was behind a lady in line who had picked up a box of double stuffed Oreo cookies and a 12-pack of Coca-Cola. And he looked down and saw that the total price of those two items was $9.88 or thereabouts. Now, $9.88 for some frivolous kinds of things seems like stuff that we do all the time. Yeah, you buy a 12-pack of Coke, or you get some cookies, or this or that, but it's $9.88. So figure 10 bucks. And if you were to take that $10 that you would frivolously spend on stuff that may not have any good nutritional value at all, and spent that $10 every time you went to the grocery store buying rice and beans and the kinds of things that you can stock up on in your preps, you're going to be a heck of a lot farther ahead. I'm figuring 10 bucks a week just for rice and beans, and we'll get into what we're doing right here in this video. I've been doing this for 3 weeks now, and I've got 45 pounds of rice. I've got 22 pounds of dried beans already. That's 3 weeks. All right. Now, how does that equate to future usage? Well, according to the USDA, there are 7 servings of rice, long grain white rice, in a pound. So there's 7 servings in a pound. That's a cup. No, it's a half a cup. It's a half a cup, all right? So if it's a half a cup, there's 7 half cups in a pound of uncooked rice. It's going to require a little bit of water to cook the rice in, and the rice will basically almost double in size once it's properly cooked. So out of the 40 pounds of rice that I've picked up over the last 3 weeks, we expect to get 280 servings just of rice. Now, when we get into the beans very similar in construct, that a quarter cup of dried beans, when they're fully moisturized and cooked, will turn into approximately 1/2 cup of cooked beans. So there's 24 servings of a half a cup dry in a 2-pound pack. Okay? So if we've got 22 pounds, that's 12 servings a pound. That's 264 servings of rice. So between the two, we're well over 500 servings of rice and beans. Now, what we're going to do, and we invested in this quite a long time ago, is with this machine over here. This is the Weston Pro 2300 vacuum sealer. They're going to go in these vacuum sealed bags, and they will get vacuum sealed. We'll throw in oxygen absorbers in each package, and then we'll double bag it into Mylar bags and seal those, but not vacuum seal it, if that makes sense. When we first started prepping in 2012, thereabouts, one of the things that was on our very original list was rice and beans. And we did stockpile a little bit of rice and beans as time went on, but they got old, and we filled up a couple of storage buckets with rice and beans. So we've probably got 20, 25 pounds of rice down there, and maybe another 15 to 18 pounds of dried beans already put up, that we put up, I think, in the late part of 2012, first part of 2013, somewhere around in there. And we haven't really tapped into it because we haven't needed to, because there hasn't been any survival type situations. We do enjoy rice meals and do enjoy rice and beans from time to time, but you know, digging into a 1 pound package of rice and a 1 pound package of beans doesn't really deplete your resources all that much, and we may do it 3 or 4 times a year, and that's about it. But in a survival type situation, after the SHTF event, one of the things that you're going to really need to be concentrating on is making sure that you can stretch your food. Now, based on personal experience, I have found that rice and beans, just cooked as rice and beans, you boil up some water, you soak the beans, you boil the rice, cook everything together, maybe throw it in a crock pot, or maybe throw it on a cast iron skillet and warm it up that way, just by itself is horribly bland. So I'm going to recommend that as part of your preps, that you also invest in things that will augment the rice and beans. We generally have quite a good stock of canned chicken, and we do put up our own chicken from time to time. We buy it in bulk and buy it 40-pound bags, boxes at a time, and we'll can some of that up and freeze some of it for ready use. But the canned chicken we've still got, we've probably got 2 dozen pints of our own canned chicken put up, but we buy this canned stuff at our local BJ's Wholesale Club. Get a 4-pack or a 8-pack, somewhere between $8 and $12, that kind of a thing. So you get 4 good-sized cans. They're 12.5-ounce cans. That's going to add some protein to the mix. You're going to need flavorings. So I'm going to recommend that you spend a couple of bucks out of that $10 a week. Get yourself some packaged seasoning mixes. This one is curried rice. This is broccoli and beef for stir fry. This is Oriental seasoning mix for rice, that kind of a thing. You can cut up a canned ham, put that in there for some flavor and some extra protein. A can of tomato sauce really goes a long way to give the thing some flavor, give your casserole some flavor. You can mix in dry soup mixes, onion soup, vegetable soup, that kind of a thing comes in handy. You can season it with your favorite hot sauce, teriyaki sauce. But best of all is to have a ready supply of beef and chicken bouillon. If you don't have anything else but to work on the flavoring for your rice and beans, then I'm going to recommend highly that you invest a few bucks in a bulk purchase of bouillon cubes for both beef and chicken. And together they actually taste even better than they do individually. So take that as it may. We're going to be spending the day today taking all the rice, taking all the beans, breaking them down into ready-made serving packages so that we've got enough for 1 or 2, maybe 3 meals, and then enough for if there's a bigger group of people. So we'll have a little bit bigger bag that can do enough to feed 4 to 6 people for a day or 2, that kind of a thing. And then we'll take the beans, do the same thing with them, break them down into individual packaging servings, and put this in these sealable tote bags, tote boxes that I picked up at Lowe's Home Improvement Center. We got about 3 that have come up empty now over the last couple of years. So we're planning on filling those up, and every week we're going to continue to spend that $10 on more rice and more beans. And every month or so, we're going to package it up and seal it. One of the other things that Bob mentioned during his seminar on the morals of survival, and it really did kind of hit home, is what are you really going to do when the neighbor shows up at your front door and they have totally run out of food and their 8-year-old daughter is emaciating? They didn't stock up, they're not preppers. All they had in their larder was just enough for a couple, 3 days, because they always knew they could get to the supermarket and buy whatever they needed. But now there isn't anything out there since the S hit the fan. So here we are. They're knocking on your door. You know them. You live next door to them, down the street from them. Go to church with them maybe. See them at the community. See them in and around the community, at the homeowners meetings, those kinds of things. You know who they are, they know who you are. And whether they know you're a prepper or not, they may be just knocking on the door saying, can you help us? Are you going to help them? Do you have what it takes to say, yeah, I can help you? Well, that's what the rice and beans are going to do, because we're going to package those up into individual care packages, for lack of a better term. 2.5 gallon plastic jugs, 5 gallon plastic jugs, and we're going to put enough of that kind of stuff, the rice and the beans and some seasonings, that kind of a stuff, to at least get them over the hump. Hopefully until they can begin to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. I don't want them fully dependent on me, but I am willing to help them out. And this little bit of extra, $10 here, $10 there, I think is going to go a long way and allow me to sleep at night. The other item on our agenda for today is to take these green beans from our garden and get them snapped, get them cleaned up, and get them pressure canned. In our pressure cooker. The pressure cooker's sitting here behind me. The canning jars are there on the stove. We've got to sterilize the lids, wash the jars, get the beans snapped and all that. Our garden has been pretty much a failure so far this year. It's been so hot and maybe way too wet for too long a period of time, and now it's been almost near drought conditions where I've had to water every day. The tomatoes are burned out. The squirrels attack the tomatoes. So we're going to have a very, very poor tomato harvest this year. We're going to have to go to the farmer's market and buy a couple of bushels of tomatoes to can up for our winter stores for that. But we've had good luck with green beans. We've already got maybe 30 pints put up. Right in here in these 2 bags, there's another 6 or 8 pints that we're going to put together today just to complete the green bean harvest. I think it's pretty much done right now. So that's also on the agenda for today. So today's our day for prepping and preparing our food. This is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared always. Out for now.